The Chiefs are looking to get back in the win column against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football. And I got their game plan coming at you right now. Welcome back, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And we're going to talk about this matchup with the Bengals coming up on Sunday Night Football, the second Sunday night in a row. And after they played such a epic game, back and forth with the New England Patriots, a lot to talk about. And anything's going to be kind of a come down off of that. So I think before we even get started, we got to talk about the fact that, this is a difficult thing to get back up for an opponent a week later on another primetime game. So I think Andy Reid will have them focused. I think he'll have them ready. And it's just going to be coming down, in my opinion, more to execution than anything else. So we're going to talk about the 4 keys to this game. But if you're new here, I appreciate you checking us out. And make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you know when we go live. I just got added, one of the first sports channels to get the premieres functionality. So now I'll be able to let you know and give you a lobby to hang out in before the videos are actually posted. Actually, after I recorded the last one, I got it just that day, so I tried it out. And it lets you chat along as the video starts to play. And it's an interesting feature. Let me know how you like that in the comments. It's something new, and I'm pretty excited about it because there's not many sports channels that have it. So let me know what you think. And if you're an old hand around here, I appreciate you coming back and checking it out, spreading the word. We're having a good time, and we're going to talk specifically about the game plan right now. And first and foremost, when the Bengals are playing pass defense, you have to look at them to kind of key in on what the Patriots did, specifically against Patrick Mahomes, because of that interception that Dante Hightower got. His kind of creeping down, faking as though he was going to blitz. He actually did get, he said later in an interview with Peter King, that he actually did get pulled down into the action. Felt like they were going at him. So it wasn't necessarily, it was just a pseudo fake. He made the read and realized he had to get back. And part of that was probably physically the angle that he got to in trying to get back out, but also the fact that he was blocked out by a couple of linemen, that there was no clear line of sight for him. So look for the Bengals to do something different. And they have done that in the past. They will show blitz and drop 8 into coverage and just go with a 3-man rush. With Geno in the middle, he's still doing well against the pass. They've got some guys that can get home. And look for them to kind of mix it up. They took that cue from what the Patriots did, and I think they're going to try to throw a lot of different looks at Patrick Mahomes. I don't know that their playing zone defense is something that's going to be big for them, because you look at them and you run crossers against their linebackers. Their linebackers aren't very dynamic in coverage. I feel like the Chiefs in their intermediate cross game, those things where either the slot or Travis Kelce is crossing the formation, I think that's going to be something that can pay off for the Chiefs quite a bit. So look for that against it. And the one thing you have to know against the Bengals defense is where Jesse Bates is. He's playing very well. He's the reason they let Iloka go. And he's the guy that I think they're going to key on. If you get him to bite, I think Tyreek can get loose and get behind him. And I'm looking for the run of Sammy Watkins on some slants. I think he can make some pay dirt as well. Number 2, on the run, it's real simple. You want to run to the right side on these guys. James Conner had a heyday over on the right side, both off tackle, but particularly out on the edge. And you're going to see that they do, or the Steelers did things to this Bengals defense that the Chiefs are very capable of doing, even with their replacements in on the offensive line. And that's pinning and pulling the guards, where you're going to get some blocks from the tight ends that are going to come down, and they're going to seal that so that the guards can get outside. That makes an alley for Kareem Hunt, and it's something that was very effective against the Bengals. I think they need to do again. Now, also, the guys over there are a little suspect. Running at Carlos Dunlap is not a bad thing. According to PFF grades, he's one of the weaker defenders on that defensive front for the Bengals, and he's definitely somebody to target. And like we said about Geno Atkins, doing well against the pass. Against the run, he's struggling a bit more than usual this season. Now, I'm not saying he's bad, but he's not the same stout run defender that he has been in years past, or at least not as stout. So he also is somebody on that side that you can get some yardage on. So look for them to be pretty heavy, running between Wiley, pulling those guards, and maybe Devy as well. We'll see how apt he is at that. The Chiefs did add Jeff Allen, but I think he's going to play a backup role, especially this week. But I think in general, they're looking at him as an emergency kind of guy. Now, number 3, when you flip it over, and we're talking about how to defend these Bengals, the first thing is kind of a sore spot. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but in particular last week. You have to defend the run, and you have to have your inside linebackers play disciplined football. It's not terribly complex, but you have to mind your gap. It's all there is to it. You have to have these linebackers be where they're supposed to be. They make a lot of yardage, Joe Mixon in the offensive line does, by running basic zone concepts. A lot of stretch, some inside. He looks for that cutback, and he can get loose. You have to be in that spot where you're supposed to be. You can't be guessing gaps anymore. You can't be slow to recognize and get there. The hesitation has to go out the window. We talked in the film room last week from last game about how they have to be more aggressive and that they're better when they're aggressive, specifically Ragland and Hitchens. They have to do that. They have to flip that switch or they're going to get run on. But luckily, I think they're both capable, and if they can have the discipline to attack downhill and beat that zone into their responsible gap, I think they're going to be okay. We'll have to watch it, but that's what they have to do. And number 4, Andy Dalton. Well, there's a couple of things about Andy Dalton we can talk about, but first and foremost, you have to get pressure on Andy Dalton. When under pressure, he is number 24 quarterback in this league in completion percentage at 47%. He is affected by getting off of his spot. And the guys that have given up the most are Cordy Glenn at left tackle and Redmond at right guard. So that's kind of a familiar theme that we've seen the last couple of weeks. And in particular, Redmond is susceptible to the bull rush. I don't think he has the greatest anchor in the world. I think Alan Bailey can push that pocket pretty well. And when you get Noddy in there, I think he's going to have success either penetrating that B gap or just taking him on full on. And they can have success in the pass rush, not necessarily getting sacks or hits even, but collapsing that pocket into Dalton's face. And that is enough. Total pressure is the key here. But on the other side, Breeland Speaks is going to have a chance to redeem himself because Cordy Glenn has given up over 20 pressures so far this season. That's 4 a game. And Breeland obviously had such a terrible go with that play against Tom Brady that Troy Vincent came out and basically denounced him, saying that he missed the sack, which is utterly ridiculous. And I said it on Twitter at the time. Breeland has to get over the fact that he pulled up because of fear of that penalty, and he has to play hard and play through the whistle. And if that gets you a penalty, it gets you a penalty. You don't want to let that happen again. So I think he'll learn from that. And I think he's got a matchup that his power in particular is something that I think he can have some success against Glenn with. So look for him to kind of redeem himself. I hope that he continues his progression. He's one of the key matchups that I'm going to keep an eye on and see how he does. Now, otherwise, a couple of other things that are little quirks that we saw that you have to make sure you're paying attention to. And one is, don't let your linebackers get lined up on their wide receivers. They did a couple of good switches and were able against the Steelers to get Boyd out there, the guy who's lighting it up and actually is getting more attention now that he's opposite of A.J. Green. In the red zone, got him on a linebacker, barely made any press. I do believe they made contact, but bounced off of it for the touchdown. And he's a guy you got to know where he is on the field. Playing that weak zone, especially in the red zone against these taller, jumpier receivers, I don't think that's going to work. You need to see the classic press man style that Bob can play. Question will be, will he? If they can, I think that helps them avoid the jump ball, especially with shorter corners against larger receivers. Getting them off of the route, off the timing is going to be key. So look for those to happen. Let me know what you guys are looking for, players, matchups in particular. Hit it all in the comments. If you're not subscribed, give that a thought so you can get in on the conversation next time and spread it around. I'm going to do a live post-game on Sunday night. The Monday thing didn't work out, so look for me almost immediately or very soon thereafter on Sunday night, post-game, live. Ask your questions, get in the chat. It'll be a good time. I appreciate you guys watching this one. Hope you enjoy your weekend and you enjoy that game, and I'll talk to you next time.